Could be nice to talk with everybody.
Hello,
Hello.
How have you been? Have you been surviving the coronavirus outbreak in France?
Oh yes, it's such long and boring now. Since maybe 2 months, we are in lockdown. So yeah, it's boring. But I made some training at home, so some cycling, and we can go running during 1 hour. So it's okay. We made it, and but the May 11, we could go outside and make our training as before, so it could be nice. The biggest fact, it's that we couldn't go on holidays, and for us it's quite hard because every time in April we go and enjoy like our summer for us, just holidays, and so this year it will be different. So it will be harder for us to be mentally strong at training, and on the other time, mentally fresh. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I just want to say, obviously, huge congratulations on this season. You must be really proud of your season, and definitely well deserved. I have a question, and I'm going to leave, some of the other probably more obvious questions about the men's pursuit from world champs to some of our teammates here. My question is about the start of the season. The French team, you guys went to Shushan, and then in the first World Cup in Ostersund, you guys crushed. Like, you guys were way ahead of the Norwegians and the Germans and everything. And how did you come away from the beginning of the season feeling confident that you were going to be able to ride that momentum through the whole season, and it wasn't just you started too early?
Just about myself or about the team?
Both.
No.
If you can speak for the team.
Okay. For all the team, since we have our new coach Vincent Vitos, he was a former World Championships in cross country skiing. We train harder than ever. We train like cross country skiers and not as biathletes. And it was quite different for us and for me. So 2 years ago was my first year in the A team, so in the World Cup, and it was really hard. I remember in September I was really tired. I felt so bad, and I asked my coach if we can make for me less training, and he just told me, Emilien, the high level is not made for everybody. And it was so hard speech to hear that by my coach. It was like he didn't believe in me. And this time I was really sad. Remember, I didn't cry, but I was really deep sad, sorry. And I think he was true. The high level is really hard, but if you really want it, if you do your job with your heart, with passion, you can make it. And so for me this year, I tried to train in a different way. I believe more in myself. I had more self-confidence. And so in the start of the season, when I came to Östersund, I knew that I was able to make great performance. I mean, I knew too that I was not at the same level as Martin, Quentin Fillon-Maillet, or Simon Detieux, but I wanted to be like them. I was not like a sparring partner. I wanted to be one of the greatest of the team, so on the world, because our team is so strong. And since the beginning of the season, I remember my first interview with a French channel. They asked me what I wanted to do during the season, what's my goals. And during maybe 10 seconds, I remember I had reflection, and I was a little bit scared, to tell them the truth. I wanted to be at the top. I wanted to be world champion. And no, I just wanted to tell them the truth at this moment. And I told them, I want to win. I want to be the other. I know I have the level, and I will prove it. And I think sometimes in biathlon, because it's a hard sport, we all know the shooting is really hard, and sometimes of course, you really want to make a great race, but with the win or because of a lot of things, you can make it. Every time, if you ask one biathlete, he will not tell you, "I want to be world champion." It's always like, "Oh, we will see with the shape," or "I don't know, we will see after the race." But I think it's like in the other sports, you have to be confident about yourself and told to someone, "I want to be a US champ. I want to go to the junior world championships and to be in the top 10, top 5 to win." You don't care just about yourself. And for me, this year, it was maybe more like the American way of feeling, you know.
Yeah.
Since 3 years now, I watch a lot of NBA, and you know, if you watch it too, guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo, they didn't. They are. He 24 years old like me, and he have no fear, you know. So you don't have to have fear about results and other guys or girls. Just be yourself. And so for me this year, when I came to Östersund, I knew I was able to make great performance. But after thinking about world championships, I knew that I had to make great performance, and to make great performance, I had to do just my just my stuff. How I made it, it's my stuff, it's my way. It's not the same way as Martin. It's not the same way for Quentin, but I had to do what I'm doing and not another way.
That's awesome. If I could just ask one follow-up question to what you said at the beginning. You said this season you trained as a skier, not as a biathlete. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, we trained a lot. We made more running. So, for example, I train 85 or 90 hours per month, and before this year, I trained 10 hours or maybe 12 hours per month in running. And this year, I train 20 hours per month.
Hmm.
So you know, it's harder. It's harder than doing a bicycle. Um, and yeah, so we practice a lot running. Uh, uh, what's the English word for you know, to take strength session.
Yep.
And before this year, I always shoot a lot at every day. I shoot maybe 100 bullets, because I always wanted to reach performance, to be better every day. But after my first year in World Cup, I understand that it was not my way to do it. I lost myself, and so I decided to shoot only 30 or 40 bullets per training per session.
Hmm.
And it was easier for me to be better, because just I was really focused during 30 bullets. And it was enough for me to make a great session of training, and enough to train something particular on my shooting. And for me, I think it was a new thing. And for sure, at the beginning, I was afraid, because I thought it was not enough to be strong in the World Cup. I had to shoot more. But the fact is, I was less tired at the end of the summer mentally, and I was able at every races to reach the 20. I was able to make the best I can do at this moment.
Awesome. That's really enlightening, you know, because I think you bring up a lot of, you know, the same concerns that we have here is like, am I doing enough? Am I, you know, is my training plan correct? But it's good that you had that confidence, and obviously it worked. So
Yeah, it's normal to ask yourself every time there's questions because our training is so long, 7 months of training. There is no sports like us who made a so long training session before running, and so it's normal. It's like this, you know. Sometimes you ask yourself a lot of questions. Your confidence is like this too. So you just have to accept it and to continue to train and to believe in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to go to some club members who have some questions, and we'll start with Lisa. Lisa, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Emilien, for being here. I think that the final ski leg of the pursuit race that you won, the World Championship, was probably one of the most exciting ski legs of a biathlon race I've seen. And you were doing a lot of looking over your shoulder, and in the press conference after, you said that had to do with your track cycling background. And it seemed to me like you completely controlled that final leg. And I would just love to hear a little bit more about what your strategy was and what the track cycling strategy, how that helped. Like, can I win a ski race with track cycling strategy?
Yeah, so thank you. It was, yeah, for sure an amazing lap for me. And you know, after the shooting range, I don't know why, but I knew that Johannes made the 5 and me too, but I thought we were second and third. I don't know why, I can't explain, but for me, Loginov was behind behind us. And so I watched the screen and I saw my name with the Johannes name, and I was, oh my God, I will try to be world champion with Johannes. Is that true? And so during maybe 4 or 5 seconds, I was destabilized. Sorry, I didn't know what I can do at this moment, and but the fact is, maybe 100 meters after, I was really focused. Okay, second is perfect. I will be really proud of my race today. But what if I can have more? I can win if I want. And so the beginning of the track, I was with Johannes, and I thought he will attack me. And you know, all the race, he pushed a lot to come back at the first place. And so I saw he was not strong enough on this lap. And so when we came at 400 meters of the finish line, he let me pass. And at this time, I remember in my head, I was, oh, okay. It's like it's like I passed actor of the race. For me, it was Johannes who have the cards to win, not me. But at this moment, it's like when he let me pass, it was like, okay, you can go. And for me, it was, okay, you will see. You want to play with me? And for me, it was like a game. And you know, before so practice biathlon, I made cycling during a lot of years, and it was my dreams, my childhood dreams was to make the Tour de France, to take the yellow jersey. It was my biggest dream ever. And so at this moment, you know, it was like if my child dreams came true, but in another way. And so it was like it was only my instinct. It's right in English. Yeah, okay. It was this who made me. So yeah, I am always watching him. And after the race, Johannes told me that he didn't what he can do at this moment, because it was something new for him. He never see a biathlete made something like that. And so I'm really proud to have made it at the World Championships. It was something new, and for me it was my way to do it. A new times. I try to be as I am in the life, and I always made it in cycling, and it was the biggest day to made it. And yeah, it was such an incredible moment when my strategy was to always trying him to don't have the better way, you know, to get to the finish line. So that's why I always looking him, and the second goal to this, it was to, if he wanted to attack, I could watch him and attack before him. Don't be stressed if I saw him attack me after before the downhill. And yeah, he told me after the race, I didn't know what I can do at this moment. So he surprised him a lot. So that's why I do it another time with his brother at the master for 4 days after. I hope I answered to your question. Sorry for my English sometimes. It's hard for me.
No, that's awesome.
Good. Okay.
It gives some great, you know, insight as to your race strategy, because I agree that is probably one of the best biathlon races I've ever seen. And can you just talk? I know a lot of people have questions. What's with the tightening of the boots on the downhill when you guys were playing the cat and mouse game?
You know, it was like a gladiator. You know, it was like I hope he saw it. It was like, okay, I'm ready for the fight. You know,
Yeah.
as Rambo with the same thing. Okay, I'm ready.
That's awesome.
Just this.
Yeah. Bryn, you have a question.
Oh, I was just going to ask about dry fire training and how much you incorporate that into your training after you said that you don't, on a live fire, you don't shoot that many.
I made a lot when I was young, so since 15 years old to 20 years old. And after we train a lot every day, and with all these race, I made not so much today, maybe once per week. But for example, the day of the pursuits of the World Championship pursuit, the morning with my coach, we went to the training on the shooting range of Antols Arena, and we practice. So we shoot maybe 50 bullets. It was on a standing position, but on prone target. And so I made it as we can see in a lot of sports. There is people before a basketball game. They came in the stadium and they shoot 3 hours before the game. And it was the first time for biathletes who someone made it before a World Championships race to made a training. And for me, it was really interesting because it was my first time I made it. But when I came to the shooting range 3 hours after for the zeroing and after for the race, I had more confidence because it was like I knew what I wanted to do at this moment, and I felt great. So I think it's nice if people made some dry shooting the morning of the race. Not so much because you don't have to be really focused the day of a race since 8 a.m. to if the race is at 30 p.m. 1 p.m. Sorry, you just have to be focused during 1 hour since the zeroing to the end of your race. But before, after, it's calm down, it's relaxed time. And so you can make dry shooting the morning of the race, but you have to separate it. Maybe during 10, 15 minutes, you can make it, but after stop. Go watching a movie, you can sleep, eating, but not be mentally focused about your race.
How much dry firing
Like
are you doing?
gymnastic. Sorry?
How much dry firing are you doing now that it's like coronavirus and you might not be able to get to the range as often?
Zero. My rifle is always in my pack since the 20 March. It's my ritual. Always after the season, my rifle is on my garage.
Yeah.
And I will waiting the 15 May maybe to start training again. It's important, I think, to recover physically is really important, but mentally it's more and more important because with your mental, you can be strong as you can believe how you can be strong.
Mm-hmm.
You can be stronger than with a good strength. So that's why I want to calm with shooting.
Awesome. Elias, you got a question?
When did you first start logging your trainings?
Sorry?
When did you first start logging your trainings?
Logging your trainings? What does it mean?
Kind of a logbook or
Yeah.
like keeping track of your.
Okay. Okay, sorry. It was late, maybe at 17 or 18 years old. Before that, so I have a coach, before to be in national team, you are in a state team and a club. And we always have a coach who made my program. But since my 18 years old, I made it, and it's really important. When I was young, I didn't understand why is it important. For me, it's boring. I don't want to write what I'm doing, and I don't want to make what my coach told me. But with the years, you understand that it's really important. If you want to progress, you have to write it. You have to think about it, to know what is good for you, because everybody is different. If a good training session is good for your friend, maybe it's not good for you. So everybody is different, and with your program, you can understand what is good and with what you will progress. So it's really important, yes. And if you can start early, it's better for your coach and it's better for you.
Absolutely. Nick, you got a question?
Yeah, my question is, what does your goal setting process look like? So like about this time of the year, are you setting new goals? Are you reevaluating goals from last year? What your goals look like? Are they process goals or like results-based goals?
It's both. It's both. For example, last year, my goal, I wanted to reach a podium. At this time, 1 year ago, I didn't believe about to be world champion or win another role or something like that. But I wanted to progress in small things, how I skis. I wanted to shoot fast as I made before. Since maybe 2 years, I was not a fast shooter, and because I was too stressed in the World Cup, I was like not myself. So it was my biggest goal to have this self-confidence, to be myself and to believe in me. And after in results, it was only made podium and be in the top 15 in the overall. I think it's really important to another time separate it. You have your goals in results, but it's not important if your goals, like progress in skis, in ski time, in your average in shooting, something like this. It could be more important than result, because result didn't depend on you. It depends about the race, about your skis, about a lot of things. So you can't just think about that. if you think just about results, you will be bored, and I think you will don't take pleasure. And the biggest thing is to always have pleasure. And so for me, I always try to have goals. You know, when I made a strength session, I always want to put 1 more pounds at every session on DC or something like that. Always. When I go running, I want to be fast. I have always my run track, but of course I go running everywhere. But I want to be a little bit faster, but with my heartbeat less higher. You understand?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always every day watching me progress, and I think it's important to always trying to make positive things. And it's like this: you will have more confidence, and you will have enough confidence where you will come to the start of the races, and you will don't have stress. You will just think about you and what do you have to do to make a great performance, and don't have stress. If you try to have this confidence with all this training and all these positive things you can learn, normally you will don't have problems. And so for answer to your question, I always want more, and I think next year will be hard. But yeah, I would like to be another time world champion, to keep this title. For me, it will be the biggest challenge, and I could be really proud if I made it. And I would like to be in the top 3 of the overall. I think I'm able, and I have to pass by here if one day I want to win the overall.
Okay. And then another quick question is, you watch NBA. What's your favorite team?
I love Milwaukee, me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but it's a good
Yeah,
team.
thank you.
And you?
I'm a Warriors fan.
Ah, no, shit. Oh, so you made a great season.
We
You
got
are
lucky.
really proud this year. Yeah, really lucky.
Yeah.
Okay. Leighton, you have a question?
Yeah. What age were you fully committed to being a biathlete?
When I wanted to be a biathlete?
Yeah.
You know, I practice cross-country skiing since I have 5 years old, because I live in mountains, and we all do that in winter. But as I said before, my biggest dream was to make cycling. And when at 15 years old, I remember I decided to make only cycling. And I remember I told to my parents, I stopped the skis, I prefer cycling. And at this time, you know, during the cycling season, I contract the mononuclears, but I didn't knew it at the moment. And so my results were bad. And so it's like, I mean, in my head, I was like, okay, cycling don't want me, so I will come back to cross-country skiing. It's my destiny for sure. And I really believe that. And so at 16, and yeah, another story. I was cross-country French champion, but in biathlon I was 12 or maybe 14. Sorry, I was not so good, and that's why I decided to continue biathlon, because I wanted to prove myself that I was a pretty bad shooters at this moment, and I wanted to prove myself that I can be good. And so it was like yeah, we talk about goals, and so it was my goals to show me that I was able to make it. So at 16 years old, I decided to make biathlon.
That's really interesting. Did you get any pushback from the French skiing federation for wanting to focus on biathlon?
No, at this moment, they didn't care for sure, because they are at this time. I don't know why for sure. Yeah, nobody told me, oh, why you choose that. That's true. But no, I'm satisfied to have made this choice.
Stefan, you have a question?
Yeah, so you're obviously like killing in the pursuits, and you can definitely throw down, especially in like sprints and pursuits, a clean shooting. So like that's the most important part of the individual. I was wondering like why you like the pursuits better, and like why that's your jam, and like you weren't racing the at world championships, you weren't racing the pursuits, I mean the individuals at all. So I'm wondering like why do you choose just do the pursuits, and why can you like kill it there, throw down a clean shooting, ski really fast, and then like not like why isn't the individual your jam, even though you have all the qualities to win those?
That's true. I don't know. It's a great question, and sometimes I try to answer it too. I think there is much intensity and stress in pursuit, and I love that. I love feel the pressure before a race, and for me, the pursuit is the biggest race for that. You have to have the qualities to shoot well, but to shoot well with pressure. And for me, it's like another time, a challenge against myself, and that's why I think I'm good in pursuit. But in individual, it's too boring for me. It's yeah, I don't have challenge, to be with other guys and fight with them. Yeah, I have to improve for sure if I want to win another world one day. But it's quite different, and I didn't arrive to have the same pleasure to race. I think it's the difference. In pursuit, I'm like a hunter. I'm really angry at the start. I want to beat them, and I don't have the same mentality in the other race. And yeah, that's weird, but I can explain now.
Jober, you have a question?
Hello everyone. Sorry I don't have a camera on my computer. Bonsoir, Emilien.
Bonsoir.
Je suis un athlète pour les États-Unis en 50 mètres 3 position. Travaillez-vous avec les athlètes de Fédération Française de Tir? And for our non-speaking or non-French speaking guest, I was just wondering because I do 50 meter 3-position rifle, which is in the Summer Olympics. So I was curious if Emilien or any of the other biathletes work with their counterparts from the Summer Olympic shooting side.
And yeah, it's a great question, and the answer is yes. When we come in the French national team, our first shooting trainer is Jean-Pierre Amat, and Jean-Pierre Amat was Olympic champion at 50 meters shooting. Maybe he always have a world record, and so it's really interesting way to improve in biathlon. And so we train a lot with him during 2 or 3 years. When you have 19, 18 years old, it's really important to have the basic of the shooting. And so we train a lot. But for example, there is for example, Franck Badiou, it was our former trainers 2 years ago, and he was the two trainers of the women this year. And he was bronze medalist at the Olympic Games too, at 50 meters. But it's another way to talk about biathlon, and sometimes it's hard for them to understand how it is to come to the shooting range with a lot of breath and with pressure. It's a kind of it's another way to shoot, and sometimes for sure it's really interesting when at the beginning of the season we made some training session, shooting session without skiing. But after with skiing, it's another way to shoot. When you came to the shooting range, sometimes you are too tired. You can't really think about your shooting. Just to breathe, you can't felt your stock. It's quite hard with the conditions sometimes. And yeah, for some people who made this kind of shooting, it's quite hard to understand this. And that's why it's with Jean-Pierre Amat, so it was really interesting, and he helps a lot of biathletes as Raphaël Poiré before. But from Badiou, it was too hard for us. Too perfect, you know. He always wanted us to think about our shooting, but you know, you can't imagine. It was really complex, and sometimes we really were stupid. I remember 2 years ago, I was in Oslo, and I was really not so confident at this moment. And I shoot really slow, maybe 55 seconds by shooting in prone as in standing. And so I missed the pursuit for 1 second. And he saw me after the race, and he told me, "Oh, today I really love how you shoot." But he was serious. And it's this day that I understand it was not like this. I have to think. Our biathlon is to shoot well and fast, not long. And sometimes with guys who made shoot Olympic shooting, it's quite different to understand that to shoot fast is important for us too. And sometimes you don't have to think only about precision, but just feeling. And sometimes it's there is difference, but we work with them.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead. I was just going to say, I know in the last couple of years, the U.S. Biathlon team has been partnering with the position shooting team, and I think it has shown some good improvement on the World Cup, with the U.S. Biathlon
for the
team.
position, it's really important, and they help a lot. That's sure. But for my case, remember 1 year ago, so I worked with Franck Badiou, and we find a really good position, on the shooting range, but without skiing. But with skiing, it was not a good position for me. So that's why if you see at the TV, my position, it's a bit weird with a really long arm. But for me, it's it's easier to have to be relaxed, and so sometimes you have to believe yourself. For sure, a coach is there to you, every time better than you about shooting and about position, but you have to feel it. If you don't feel something, you have to change, and you have to another time have the confidence to talk to your coach, but with arguments, because just tell him no, I don't want to do this. It's not constructive. But if you tell, you have to have confidence, and it's really important in shooting about your positions. If you have confidence with your rifle, with your stock, you will see your average will be better.
Okay, we only have about 5 minutes left. I know, Michael, you have a question, so you can go ahead.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Emilien, for spending time. My question is, were your parents and grandparents very good athletes? So do you think you got your ability from your genetics, or how much is your hard work, do you think, is your success?
So my mother is Parisian, so she never made sports, and my father made mountain bike, but not at a high level. So for sure, I think if you arrive to the highest level of your sport, sorry, it's not because of genetics, but it's a good way to improve. But I really think, and maybe yes, I'm sure that since 3 years, it's about my work. If I really improve last year, it's about my work, and if I have to tell something, it's if you work hard, if you believe in yourself, if you made the things in the good way, you can reach everything. And I wanted to believe it before this season, but no, I trust it. That's sure. I work harder than ever. I believe it on it for the first year of my life. After that, before that, I didn't believe in myself anymore, not so much. And so now, yeah, I can say if you work hard and you believe in it, you can make it. And if it's not happen, it's not a problem. You made everything you can make, and that's the biggest thing. And this is for life. You learn for life. Sports, it's the biggest way to learn for everything.
That's awesome. So last question. I know, unfortunately, Martin Fourcade is retired this year, and he he will.
Sorry, it's night there. It's near night.
Martin Fourcade is retiring this year. Unfortunately, he won't be on the World Cup circuit next year. I heard that you two were pretty close, and that you were even his roommate on most of the World Cup trips. Can you just talk a little bit about what his mentorship meant to you, and maybe like what's one of the biggest things that he has taught you?
Yeah, no, that's true. For example, this afternoon I made a running session and with my girlfriend, and we were in the woods where 1 year ago I was running with Martin, and I was a little bit afraid because Martin for me was like a mentor. It will be my first year without him, and it's a really big challenge for me. It's my biggest challenge to walk alone without someone to push you to every day, someone who is better than you to push you. And so it will be a new start for me, I think. And Martin is not someone who were in. He was not someone who speaks a lot. You know, he didn't give you advice like this. But when you train with him, you understand what you have to do if you want to be good as him. And he's someone really funny, a really cool guy in the life. But at the training, he's like this. During your 2 hours, 1 hours and a half, you for sure you can speak with him a little, but you understand, you see that he's really focused about his job as someone, at his office behind his computer. He's working. If he love his job, he's working, and he's not speaking to somebody else. And Martin is the same thing. The biggest thing I learned with Martin, it was at the Olympic Games. So for me, it was the first time I went to the Olympic Games, and I was really nervous, excited, stressed. And I remember Martin in France, he won one of the biggest sportsmen ever. He won the most gold medals in the French history. And I thought I will see someone really stressed, nervous because of the races and about the pressure of medias and about all the people there. But it was not the truth. He was relaxed. He was himself. And it was the biggest thing I learned to him. I saw, and this time I understand that if you want to be good, to be at the top every time at the Olympic Games, as in the French championships, you have to be yourself, not somebody else, just yourself, and don't play another game. And it was, wow, it was something incredible for me, because I thought because it was Olympic Games, you have to make it differently. For me, it was like this. Since I'm born, you always listen that Olympic game is the biggest achievement for an athlete. And for him, it was like, no, it's like a World Cup. And that was crazy. That's really crazy. And another thing is that I learned for him. I remember that one time we talked. He told me that in race, how I can say in English, he arrived to push the pleasure, to really make the difference about pleasure and race. And for me, before, if I wanted to make a good race, I only had to think about pleasure. Without pleasure, I can't make a good race. So I wanted always to shoot really fast, to make stupid things on the ski track. And I understand this time, okay, this guy, he know where he wants to go. So he arrived to didn't think about pleasure, but only about technical things to win. And it was, yeah, one of the biggest things I learned to him.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Emilien, thank you so much for doing this and coming out and taking the time to chat with us. We have.
If you have if you have some questions more, I can answer by email or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
With pleasure.
Yeah, it's a great resource, for us to be able to chat with you. Again, huge congratulations this year. That was, again, one of the most fun races to watch at World Championships. And we wish you the best of luck this year. And hopefully we'll see you, not with just the red bib this year, but maybe with the yellow bib, maybe?
Yeah, we hope so. Thank you very much. And
yeah,
so, yeah,
you,
if you have more questions, you can ask me. There is no problem.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's really good to see you.
Bye, and enjoy your day.
Bye.
Thank you.